Hey everyone, this is Aaron with Crypto Trends. Today is April 15th, 2019. TheKey has released its progress report. So we're going to go over the summary of the progress report because it was kind of lengthy. So we'll check out the key things there and what's interesting and moving with TheKey. We'll also be taking a real quick look at XRP and see what's going on to see if it's ready to start turning around and starting to move up. Well, we'll take a look at that. Before we do that, please keep in mind that this is not financial advice, just my opinion. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and get notified of when I drop these, these live streams. So anyway, let's get to the task at hand, and that is TheKey. Its ticker is TKY. So if we go over, let me bring up the Medium post where you can find this at, and the link is below to this, okay? But here is the Medium post for TheKey, for their progress report. And as you can see, yeah, it's kind of long here. So we're going to, we're going to go over what it is right now, just a summary of it. And let me scroll on up. Even the summary is kind of long. There's a lot of stuff in TheKey, okay? So here we go. So during TheKey, when they're developing and they were doing these test cases and so on, they came across and really recognized challenges that they have in front of them. And the first one that they list here is a multi-consensus mechanism is required for various scenarios. And keep in mind that what they're looking at is they're not just looking at issuing a currency. They're looking at integrating society into TheKey. They're looking at integrating big data with government and insurance companies and medical data companies, that kind of thing. And so what they ran across is that they really need a multi-consensus mechanism for the various scenarios that they have. The number two challenge, they need to create their own platform to ensure a controlled environment and reduce security risks. There you go. They are working with very sensitive data. They're working with medical documents, medical images. They're tying into the government databases. They just can't rely on a third-party platform. Okay. So the current platforms, this is number 3, the current platforms haven't been designed yet to handle the vast majority of data, the medical images, and the number of transactions that TheKey is going to require. Now these guys are in China, okay, and they're looking at really integrating into the society of China, and that's going to create a huge number of transactions. Nothing, as far as they're aware of out in the crypto space, can handle that, nor can it handle like the huge amount of data for like the medical images and so on and so forth. So also the business logic layer must be in, here's another thing, another challenge, the business logic layer must be in a smart contract, which greatly reduces the feasibility for extreme platform capacity. So basically, they have to create their own platform, and this is basically your confirmation that they're not going to be on Neo. Okay, they've said that in the past, but this really drives it home, and it gives you the reasons why. So moving on down, governance. So governance held completely within a token does not match real-world requirements. Therefore, TheKey will create their own public blockchain, mainnet exclusive for TKY. Okay, so they really, see, the thing is they're looking at real life use cases and integrating that into society and businesses. They're just not doing, they're just not doing a currency. Hey, we're a cryptocurrency. We're fast. We're this. We're that. No, they do not have that luxury. They have got to get this thing working, and it has to be good. They're integrated into the social security system of China. All right, if you didn't know. And so they're working with, governments, they're doing networks, utility companies, medical companies, and a whole bunch, okay? So here's a quote. The same technical, operation, and business models cannot be used to address social issues, which are completely different and far more complicated than cryptocurrency issuance. Yeah, it's big time. It is a vast difference between the two. And first, let me make sure that I'm streaming, so I'm not just sitting here talking to myself for days. Yeah, I'm streaming. Okay, great. Okay, so what have they done? What have they worked on? And they've been working on this since June of 2018. Okay, so what they've come up with, here is their consensus mechanism that they call the ternary hybrid theory, THT, ternary hybrid theory. Okay, so the hybrid consensus. So you have in that THT, you have consensus, governance, and the integration of blockchain and big data. Okay, so hybrid consensus. First, utilize a safe consensus mechanism based on the basic medical insurance system and democratic decision making. This is the main consensus mechanism. Okay, so their hybrid consensus. The big one is what they're coming up with is called POP, proof of power. And that is a conglomeration and a mixture of practical Byzantine fault tolerance, delegated proof of stake, proof of work, delegated power fault tolerance. Yeah, and some other stuff they haven't quite come out with yet, but I'm sure they will. And so this is going to be POP, their proof of power. The consensus used is determined by the application type. Remember, they have different types of application. They have the Social Security application. They have the pension payments. They have the insurance. They have a whole bunch of different things. They have how to access the government data. Each one of these, like servers that they're going to access, each one of these enterprises that they're going to access for the data will require a different consensus type. And so the nodes are going to be different. That's where the nodes are going to be. So right here it says different nodes will have different consensus types appropriate for the data accessed and required workflow. Yeah, because they're all different and they require different things. Okay, let's get into number 2, the hybrid governance mechanism. So currency, data and capital transactions, and public accounts will use something similar to BTC, good old Bitcoin, and currently Ether. Hence, we know that now as proof of work. Okay, great. For healthcare big data, government data collection, certification, processing, and other stuff like that, the management system will be consistent with the laws, ethics, and regulations. So they're going to have to, with their POP, their proof of power, put the governance system in to where it fits. Okay, because the thing is that just a standard governance system does not work for everybody. It's not a one size shoe fits all. And so they have to modify it. They have to tweak it a bit that works, that is in alliance with the ethics and regulations and so on and so forth. And that's their hybrid governance mechanism. So the third phase, the tertiary, hybridization of blockchain and big data. Reliance upon existing government big data infrastructure, especially the big data infrastructure of the basic medical insurance institutions as the selected node. Keep in mind, these are just my notes, okay? So the hybridization of the big blockchain and data stuff. The big thing here is the existing government big data infrastructure. So what are they going to do? They are going to be utilizing the machines, a lot of the processes that are already in place at the locations, at the insurance companies, at the medical data centers. They're going to be utilizing their computers, their structure that's already there. Why reinvent the wheel? So they're going to have basically how I would do it, because I'm a like a programmer, a system architect. How I would do it is I would have basically a front end to their systems and have some type of API or remote procedural calls or something like that going on. To me, that way the key can be removed at any time or upgraded at any time or replaced with something else, whatever, while keeping the infrastructure that's currently there in place. So it's just a bolt-on type of thing. That's how I would do it, and that's how I interpreted it from their progress report. Okay, so yeah, so the selected node, that was a big deal. Onward, it says this is important for security of data and viable resource allocation. Yeah, it would just be too huge of an undertaking for them to really do anything else. And then it would just be, can you imagine if you go into the DMV and say, hey DMV, we're going to have to switch everything around on you. Yeah, because we have to put the key in. They're going to say, no, I don't think so. You're not messing with it. But what they'll do is we'll give you an API where you can post a query and you'll get the information back. That we can do. Limited impact to the place where they're getting the information from, because what the key does is that they're bringing in information from multiple sources, and they're basically washing it, they're normalizing it, they're filtering it, it's a data aggregation, that type of thing, and they come out with some type of for like IDV, if the person is who they say they are, that kind of stuff. Okay, moving on. So the nodes like at the DMV or the local police station or the county police station, whatever, okay. These nodes will have the desired consensus and governance methods and workflows, because one shoe doesn't fit all. So they're going to have a mixture. It's going to be hand tailored which goes with which. Okay, so this is really, to me, I think this is they really looked at it hard, and this is what they've come up with. And I'd have to say that yeah, this is like how I do it. So yeah, awesome. In other words, hats off to these guys. They're really looking at a situation, they're under pressure to get it done, and they're discovering ways to get it done. All right. These results is a mixture of various consensus mechanisms, multiple governance methods, and an alchemy of blockchain and big data technology called ternary hybrid theory, THT. All right. So on the technology aspect, they have the POP, that proof of power consensus, is developed as the core for the ternary hybrid theory and the public chain. What else have they been doing? They've been collaborating with Network Big Data Security Analysis Lab, which is founded by the Ministry of Industrial and Information Technology, and the Harbin Institute of Technology for research on the mixed consensus mechanisms. Okay? The ministry, that's basically says, hey, it's the government, all right? It's like the big deal government, all right? Yeah, so the mixed consensus mechanisms, getting research on, all that good stuff. Okay, and the final phase of the pre-rollout for IDV in Guizhou province and Kaifeng city. So that's what they've done technologically. And if you recall a previous video where they actually had their booth, their 12333 National Day, yeah, they were showing people, and that was in Kaifeng City. They were showing people their product and stuff. Yeah, so this is like really cool. So they're just about ready to get things moving, okay, and into production. Really cool stuff. On the business end, currently they don't have any large scale rollouts yet, okay? Notice large scale. Instead, they're concentrating on the social commercialization of the THEKEY project. They're building it up. They are building it up and out. Rollout of both the commercial and social insurance product in Kaifeng City. Yeah, they did that. Proof of concept, which was a proof of concept and viability that demonstrated considerable, they put in there considerable commercial value. I like that. Okay, so ready to roll out large-scale promotion. They're ready to roll it out. They haven't yet, but they're ready to roll out large-scale promotion to insurance companies, medical data companies, and financial institutions and more. Really cool. And they're working with the Chinese government. You know, the THEKEY is currently working with 89 cities. Total population of 320 million. Yeah. They also won the international competitive bidding organized by the PBOC, the People's Bank of China, along with Nanjing Municipal Government. And from this they said, further investment and government support has been guaranteed. So unlike a lot of blockchains out there where people are talking about, oh, they're Ether has gone down, and it was like 1,000 when they had their ICO, and it's like 100, and they're searching for money. The THEKEY doesn't have that issue. They are getting financial backing from the People's Bank of China and the Nanjing Municipal Government because of this competitive bidding that they won, and they are a government contractor at this point. Isn't that cool? So this is like real deal. It's not it's not a farce or anything like that. It's real deal. Do your research on the THEKEY. Check them out. Check out their Twitter. Check out their Reddit. Check out my past videos on them. Okay? Do your research. Not saying buy, not saying sell. I'm saying, hey, this is one to do your research on. And where are they located? Well, if we go over here, let's go to CoinGecko. I like that because it's fast. And we go TKY. And you can click on their Reddit. As we see right now, how they doing? Let's go to their 14-day. They're up 13 and almost 13.5% on their 14-day. Jumping around here. Yeah, this is like buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing going on right here. No biggie. You just saw a summary of what's going on, right? Tell me what you think. Put a comment below. What do you think of that? Okay, and if you go to their Reddit here, right here, the THEKEY essential information. There you go, guys. Look at all those links. Okay? There. Start there. Alright, so that's that. That is the THEKEY. Now let's go over to Big Bad Boy XRP. And it's not looking so good. It has a pretty bad cold. Yeah, it's dropped down. That's on 24-hour period. Let's go to the 14-day, see what that looks like. Yeah. Everybody knows. Yeah. Okay. Don't show me the chart. But anyway, we're looking at the chart, guys. We're going to be looking at the chart, and this is the chart versus Ether. Okay, keep in mind, this is versus Ether. So what do we have going on right now? This is a line where I thought it was going, zoop, and it's pretty much been dumping. I had a target box down here, and so really what's going on besides it dumping, right? We don't want it to dump no more. Anyway, let me get this line off here. So what's really going on? Get out my little drawing tool right here. In here. When that happens, that's usually like we'd expect something like this, okay? Because that's called an AR and a secondary test. And then we draw lines and we say, okay, this is according to Wyckoff. And then we say, okay, well, this is the trading range. And it tests the top and it tests the bottom, but it fell through the bottom. So it had a failed test. And it caught itself here. And if you look over here, if you're really into TA, there's not much to catch. There's nothing to catch it, is there, except for this little guy here. And you know, there you go. Okay, let's keep that line there. So what am I trying to show you? Well, in Wyckoff, this whole downtrend, okay, it's called a markdown. And if you go over to Wyckoff, if you go over to Google and type in Wyckoff, that's W-Y-C-K-O-F-F, and mark down, all one word, and then go to images. You can look at a bunch of images and stuff. You'll bring them up. So what do I think that we're at right now? Right now, I think that we are in this area here. The phase C, as you can see on this graph, the phase C area, and we have the phase D. Yeah, that's what's coming, the phase D. And let's go take a look at that. See how close does that match? Okay, there's our phase C, and we're heading into the, here's that flat part. So this is C right here. Okay, and then this is D. We're starting to head into. So because there's the flat part, right, and then it drops. Hey, we have an LPSY, last point of last supply. So where is that on here? Right here. Last supply. Okay, let me clear that up. So we're in phase D of the Wyckoff thing, in my opinion, or very close to it. And yeah, I think we're in phase D. So what do we have to look forward to? Let's look at this little chart. Down, another little type of rest, and then down. Let's draw that out. So we have down. Let me change colors. Let's make this one a nice red. Why not? Okay, so we have down, and then another little rest, and down. Okay? And then what do we get after that? We should get a nice reversal. So right around in this area is where I'm looking at. And yeah, that pretty much corresponds to the support area. So if you're into TA, there you go. So the good news is not too much longer do we have to go. All right, not too much longer. So you like XRP, there you go. If you don't like it, that's fine too. I don't care. I'm just looking at the chart and I'm showing you where I think it's going. And it's just my opinion. And just because I think it's going down doesn't mean I dislike the coin. No, it's just what I'm doing is I'm drawing the market. Okay? And that's how I play. I play the market. Really don't, you know, if I look at coins like I don't like, there's some I don't like, and I don't mess with them. Okay, let me just clear this off. But this was a failed attempt here, and it looks like it's failed because it's actually in a markdown stage instead of a markup stage, in my opinion. And so we'll see what's going on. Let's scroll in here, see what's going on. Let's move it over, move it over. Okay, so we have huge, pretty big spikes. Okay, and pretty big spikes. To me, this is volatility. You see some greens here and reds. So this is telling me that there's still demand to sell. All right, that there's still a lot of liquidity in the market. And yeah, we can draw a line like that. Well, let me use a real line. How's that? So we'll go from here, there. Let's draw one at the bottom. Should we do the wicks? Nah, we'll do the candle bodies. We'll do from this guy. And we'll go up to the candle body there. Okay. So a lot of people are going to be looking at that. They might be looking at, they could be looking at something like this based on those. Like these two guys up here. Or other things. It just depends on how they want to do it. I mean, there's a ways you can draw it, but no matter how you look at it, pretty much it's that kind of a downward wedge. Nevertheless, so that is XRP. Give me your thoughts on XRP. And do you think it's going to moon? Do you think it's going to crash? Do you think it's just going to go sideways? Because it could do all those things. It's the market, right? So anyway, well, that's about it. Just going to head on over to the chats. Don't forget to like, subscribe, get notified. And yeah, so let's go check out the chats, see if anyone's there. Oh, there is. Hey, all right. So hey, Fawad, how's it going? Hello, my brother. Thanks for watching. Hey, Christoph, shout out to you, man. And Robert says, sounds like the key TKY token is still integrated into the project so far. Yeah, I mean, the key is plugging away. They don't market. They're basically a government contractor. You know, do you hear like Lockheed spewing out, oh, this and that to their investors? No, they have like their annual report, and they might have some updates here and there, but for the most part, it's like, come on, guys, we're not holding your hands. And the key's the same thing. Don't forget the key's held by eBownet, which does the BDMI, and they have the proven technology. So basically, they're just putting the key on top of that. But when they're looking at that with Kaifeng City and other places where they're doing proof of concept stuff, they came up with the that first part in the summary that I gave. Is like, oh my gosh, this is we can't use Neo. There's no way. We can't use anything. We have to make our own because of those issues that they have. They're not issues, they're opportunities. And they have a bunch of programmers working on this thing day and night. And I think they'll get it done. They've done pretty dang well so far. It's just you have a lot of inexperienced let's just call them inexperienced people in the market that freak out if they don't get an update every couple days. Anyway, but yeah, it sounds like the key is doing its thing, and it is doing its thing. So Neil says the key is real and will just take a long time to develop. Producing a blockchain with the ability to deal with this kind of transaction volume simply doesn't exist. That is exactly right. It does not exist. When you're looking at, they're working with 89 cities with 320 million. That's a limited rollout in China. I mean, well, they have 1.4 billion, and then how many of these people are going to be using it multiple times a day? I mean, you're going to be using the key if you want to get on a bus, if you want to get on a train or a plane, if you want to get your Social Security distribution, your pension payment, if you're going to apply for a house loan or a car loan, a whole bunch of other things. You go to the doctor's office, you know, and so they have to do a lookup on your health insurance. Is it you? Whole bunch of stuff that takes time. So this is, for me, this is a long-term hold for me. And yeah, I do hold the key, but it's very, very interesting on a geopolitical and social aspect as well. I mean, I think that we are actually watching history in the making as far as the key goes. But yeah, it will take time. But here's one thing I forgot to share. Let's look at their roadmap. I can't believe I totally forgot that. Let me blow this up. Let's see if I can get out there. Okay, there. Okay, so April 2019, research into the ternary hybrid theory, which we basically just covered. May, formation of the POP consensus mechanism and technical preparation for the public chain. June, construction of the consortium chain and test for the public chain. Cool. Also, in June, the government evaluation of Guizhou pilot program, right? They're going to be taking a look at that. July, what do we have? Blockchain registration in the in the office of the Cyberspace Affairs Commission. That's where it, isn't that what VeChain got hooked up with? Yeah, they're one of the few on the list, right? For blockchain companies. THEKEY's going to do that as well. September. Blockchain business model proven for multi-scenario application. So that's where they're doing this alchemy, this mixing of the different scenarios and, you know, proof of concept type of thing. That's when they're going to get the business model done. November, the International Seminar for THEKEY Fund, sponsored research. There you go. In December, large-scale promotion and sales of blockchain integrated solutions. That's what everybody wants to hear. Also, and then in April 2020, IDV deployment. The identity verification deployment in 16 pilot provinces. Provinces, not cities. Provinces. Millions and millions and millions and millions of people. That is their roadmap. Pretty dang cool. And Kat Chichi says, any government is slow. It took us 8 years to have jobs since the last recession. Yeah, some things they move very quick. But for the most part, they're slow. And in the U.S., it's designed to be slow. It's by design. Hey, Omega. Good to see you. Says it's like investing in an early seed funding round. Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. He says we're going from 0 to 1 here. Like Peter Thiel's book about VC investing. Yeah. And Fawad says, my big concern about TKY is what they are going to do about tokens held by foreigners, exchanges, and those lost forever. I don't think 10 billion is going to be enough, even if THEKEY has a company, gives up all their supplies. Yeah, as far as foreign investors go, China, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, even last year, I would say, yeah, you're right. That's a big concern. Now, China's really warming up to the idea of having foreign investors come in. They're turning the page on that. So the main thing is, it's one thing if foreign investors come in because they know a percentage is going to be left in the country. Just like a casino, right? Yeah, bring your money in. They know that there's going to be some winners and they're going to take their money out. The thing is, with the key though, they'll be able to control or track crypto that tries to leave, from their citizens, that tries to leave. So there's capital flight of their citizens out. And that's one of the big things I think what they want to use the key for is, it's one thing to have foreign investors come in and then they spend something and then they take the rest or whatever. Small percentage are going to win, right? Because you have only 1% really of investors win. Let's call it win, that are successful. The rest of them are, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. But China's realizing that, so they're being more like a casino, except that they're not going to let the dealers and stuff walk away with the money, and that's what they care about. Those people they can control. Foreign investors, yeah, come in, spend, take your profits. Yeah, okay, fine. So you lost 25%. You're taking, your other 75% with you. Fine. That's how I think it's going to be. And as far as their key goes, I don't know if they're actually going to be burned and destroyed. I think that they are reusable, and that is that would be an excellent AMA question, and they have their AMA coming up. But that would be an excellent AMA question if they're going to burn the tokens. Okay, so I'm not quite sure on that. And Slim Shady says, hello Slim, how's it going there? Oh, did I misunderstand you, Fawad? Let's see. I'm talking about if TKY is going to be used on a daily basis. 10 billion is not enough. If we hold a lot of tokens, and some will eventually, is going to get lost. Yeah, 10 billion might not be enough, but also keep in mind that the key is divisible like Bitcoin. Or so they said it was, okay? That it's divisible, it's not just one key. But what we're looking at, I think Catherine said in an AMA or something like that, where she said like an equivalent like USD charge for going to the doctor's office or whatever and getting verified that you are the patient. Like that was going to be like $5. And then doing something like a verification for like a home loan, that would be like $40. It's going to vary between the service, and that'll be interesting. So think of it as in USD, but if there's and then you're saying you're worried about if there's not going to be enough 10 billion. If there's only 10 billion coins, and there's 1.3 billion, 1.4 billion people in China, and they're going to use it multiple times a day. You're probably looking at a pretty big turnover where a person is going to use the key, let's just say 10 times a year, right? So there's your 10 plus billion right there. So what does that mean economic wise? Well, you're going to have demand with low supply. What happens when you have low supply and high demand? What does that do to price? In Econ 101, it makes the price shoot up. So your justification of a worry of 10 billion is not enough. That's good news, brother. That is good news. Okay, and then lost in the sense. What's going on? Lost in the sense, some of the people are going to lose their exchange accounts and private keys. Yeah, those as far as lost. Yeah, and so that's going to reduce the supply even more, which is good news. Yeah, and Omega's saying that there's an article projected over the next 40 years where China has a lot of room to grow yet. Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. They need the key to help with their efficiencies. Okay, it's going to save them a ton boat of money. The key is, and that's why they're doing it. That's why the government's involved. Okay, guys. Any other further questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna bail. So we took a look at XRP, and I think it's gonna go down, but eventually recover. So we'll see. Also, VeChain. Don't forget its symposium is coming up here on the 18th in just 3 days. It had that really cool thing with Adidas and Game of Thrones, right? And Sabotage, SBTG, with the tennis shoes, that type of thing. So that's a cool thing. Good marketing. So VeChain has some things going on for sure. Don't forget they should be looking at rolling out their part of their carbon credits system at about the same time. Yeah. So I'm looking for an announcement or two coming out of this summit that they're having. So yeah, it should be exciting times. Okay, and Fawad says, yeah, but you think the amount 10 billion might cause utility problems if it's used as they say it will. I think they might do what VeChain did when they went into their own chain. You know, they're very well, and that's create more coins, a 1 to 100 split. They could do that. We don't know yet, but either way, if that's the case, we're still getting the same percentage, and it'll probably be the same percentage on USD value, even though it's going to cost more coins. But then again, the coins are divisible like Bitcoin. Okay, so we'll see. Oh, and you want to know if you can convince me to do a deep dive into bit.game. Well, okay, I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look at it again, and we'll see. Okay, I'll say we'll see. Anyway, thanks for the comments and stuff like that. So yeah, have a great night, and check out for the key. Watch XRP for movement, and we'll see what's going on with that. So, also that Bitcoin SV thing. What do you guys think about that? I'll tell you this: that just remember that 1, everything is connected, and 2, Sun Tzu, everything is a deception. So keep that in mind. Don't forget to read your Sun Tzu, Art of War. Probably the most important book you'll ever read. Anyway, guys, have a great night. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get notified. Catch you later. Bye.